Hello, sunshines. Welcome back. We are back in the garden. We've gone through a windstorm. We got to fix a couple of things because of that windstorm. We've had a heat wave. Something suffered, but we're going to be okay. And now it is a cool 67 degrees, and I am not complaining. I'm going to take the opportunity to get plenty of things done, but for now, my focus is going to be on the veggie garden. And I want us to tour the veggie garden quickly, look at a few things, and then I'm going to harvest, and then I'm going to fertilize. There might be some staking and things like that I need to do along the way, but that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to start right over here in the smaller section of the veggie garden. Okay, let's take that journey. Okay, this is the section where there are just 4 garden beds, which is located at the bottom of the hill garden, also next to my workstation. And so in this bed right here, in the front of this bed, we have 2 dahlias, and they are here so they can grow up this trellis, and I can be able to stake them if I need to or clip them. Right in front of the 2 dahlias is a cucumber plant, and so that has taken off, and I continuously just redirect it to make sure that it is going to grow up this trellis. And so that's a cucumber plant. And then this bed over here, we have all of our sweet peppers. So we have like banana peppers, tangerine peppers is another one. And so it's just full of sweet peppers. So this row right here, and they have flowers on them. And so we should be getting peppers soon. I'm sure that they really enjoyed that heat wave that we had. So yeah, these are the peppers. Also in this bed, we have down here, that is an eggplant, I believe. Yep, an eggplant. And then we have some of that beautiful purple basil over there. We also have a few, 4 to be exact, tomato plants in this bed. As you can see, they have plenty of blooms, and we should be expecting tomatoes from this bed soon. I do need to come in, and that's a part of being in the garden today. I'm going to prune them, cut the suckers. Actually, there's a tomato on this one right here. And so what is a sucker? If you look at this plant right here, I only want to grow these tomatoes with 1 liter stems. I don't want them. They can get really crazy if you don't prune them. Last year, I did let them go. I do not want to do that. So what I'll do is right here between the main stem, this is the main stem, this is a leaf, and this right here is what you would call a sucker. I'm going to simply take it off. This right here can become a whole new plant, but I'm not doing that. That will go in compost because the animals cannot eat that. And so here's another sucker. So that's what I'll be doing. And then I'll stake this up. And I think I told you all before, but I simply walk around the garden with yarn, a roll of yarn, and I just tie it up. So that's something that I'll probably go after today. Not so much on the video because, it can be a little, redundant. So like even right here, we have another tomato. Right here is the main stem. And then you see right here in the armpit, there's a sucker. I'm simply going to take that off. I'm just dropping them in a bed for now. I'll pick them up later. And so that's what I do here. Here's a example. You can catch them this size or the bigger size right here. This is another example. That is huge. And you'll be like, oh, well, why take that off? But that's in the armpit. So I'm going to snap that off. And if you want, like I said, you can stick it in soil and you can make a whole nother plant, but I want to. And then what I also do is I come in and I prune off the bottom leaves and just kind of do my best. This right here is a sucker. Let me see. Is this growing? Okay, because I was going to say, nope, that actually is fine. Because you will always also see them. Here's another example. And I don't want to make this all about plant tomato suckers on the on the plant, but right here is another example of a sucker. You see it's growing out the base of the plant. That will produce a whole another plant, and we don't want that, so pull that off. And then what else is in this bed? This is an okra. So this is going to get really tall. It actually, look at those little baby okras. I wasn't expecting that, but see, when that heat, as much as I don't like it, the plants actually love it. So that worked out for the plants. But anyway, so that's why these peppers are all budded up. Okay. Back here, we have a bed that is full of beets, and it's also full of arugula that has gone to seed. So I'll be pulling that out and giving it to the chickens. I need to thin out this bed of beets, something I am not good at doing with all my beds, including this bed right here that's full of carrots. I need to thin them out. I will get carrots, but if you thin them out, you'll get bigger carrots. And I think I feel raindrops. Okay, the bed right next to it, we'll start up front. We have another eggplant right there, and then we have parsley. There was parsley here, it died. And so, um, basil, more tomatoes. This one right here is loaded. So the same thing, I'll come in and snap these pieces off. Okay, this tomato I actually broke. I'm gonna probably pull that out, but I allowed this sucker to grow to start a whole nother plant, but I think I'm gonna pull the whole plant out. So more tomatoes, and this over here is our hot peppers. And we have some peppers coming in. So this bed right here is full of the hot peppers. I try to separate them just in case the kids want to come out here and grab a pepper. I can tell them where the hot ones are and where the sweet ones are. And then we have this huge dahlia right here. This is a dahlia. And look, we have blooms. Well, not blooms, buds. We have buds on it. So this one, I don't know the name of it. It was gifted to me. And I believe she said they're like the dinner plate ones. So they should be really big blooms. So that's exciting. And then on the other side, we have this dahlia that's the same, but it's slow growing. So those are the beds over here on this side at the bottom of the hillside garden. Those are the 4 beds. So let's go over to the larger side. So this is the other side, and it is in fact raining based on the weatherman. It was supposed to rain earlier around noon. And of course, it's, I think, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and now it decides to rain. But nevertheless, let's walk this garden. Okay, so I have things covered over here on this side because we had the rabbits that were eating things, but also this bed right here is full of cabbages. We have red cabbages and we have regular cabbages. This one stays covered so that the moth does not lay its eggs, which will cause the worms, and they will eat everything. So far so good. This bed is looking really good. I can't tell you how many cabbages are in here, but what I can see is that they're forming. And then we have marigolds, which are so beautiful in this bed. Okay, this bed back here, we have marigolds, as you can see. And then we have this right here is Russian kale. So this is what I need to come out here, and I need to get all of my greens. I need to pick some greens. So we don't have to leave that on. And then there's also a tomato in that bed. And so you can see the marigolds, the Russian sage, not Russian sage, the Russian kale. And then you see the tomato. I stuck a tomato in there. This bed right here is full of onions, the Spanish onions and the yellow onions. And so hopefully they're doing what they're supposed to do, bulbing up underneath the ground, and we'll be ready to harvest at some point later on. This bed is full of that. This bed right here is also covered. These marigolds are just growing wild. I'll have to cut those back too. This bed right here is probably one of the beds that's I'll be taking some things out, like for instance, I'm trying to get this off. Oh my gosh. So this right here was spinach, but as you can see, it has grown, it's ready to go to seed. I'll give that to the chickens. And then we have this Laciato kale, and then marigolds. These marigolds are huge. Look, this one has tipped over. I'm gonna have to cut these back so that, yeah, so that they can grow. Okay, moving along. This bed right here is full of collards. So collard greens. The rabbits ate them all the way down. They would have been much bigger, but the rabbits came and ate them. That's why I have them covered. And so I'm going to be pruning on those soon, or harvesting those soon. And I recently dropped more seeds on this side. I had a type of cabbage over here that I was looking forward to, but it went to seed so fast, and so I pulled it and I just put some more carrot seeds. Also around the edges there is some more parsley. This bed right here has tomatoes, and as you can see, we have tomatoes. And then it's also full of lettuce, and we've been eating off the lettuce, and so that lettuce is probably tired because of the sun, so I'm sure I'll be pulling that soon and giving it to the chickens. And the garden is for us and our animals. So I'll stay right here. Right here we have some beans that are growing up, and I believe this right here is what is that? Something's been eating it, but I think that those are broccolis. And then I have some butternut squash right here. And then there's another one on the other side. And marigolds will continue to repeat itself. And then these are some green beans that are growing in. Back here in this bed, now these marigolds are pretty too. And look, they're different. We have a mix. We have some Russian kale, and then we have some beans growing in here. We also have some parsley in here too, and so some of the beans did get eaten. I'm gonna step back in so you can kind of see where I was. So that's where it was on the second row. So let's talk about the second bed in the first row right here. This one, these marigolds are going wild, you all. But I'm okay with it because this bed right here is, look how big this leaf is a Swiss chard. And those marigolds, although they're covering that Swiss chard, they offered them some protection during that heat wave. And so that's probably why they're not all burnt up. So thank you. Look at that. Look at those nice healthy leaves. There is some sage back here. And I don't believe I put anything in here to grow up this trellis. If I did, actually, I think there is something back there. It's hiding. Not hiding on purpose, but it's being blocked. But yeah, this looks like it's a type of zucchini or squash or something. So I'll have to thin this bed out. This bed right here has more Russian kale. I guess I was just on a Russian kale. Most of these beds have kale because that's what I started with. I didn't go from spring garden to something like they're lasting. But this one also has a tomato plant in it as well. As you can see, we don't see any tomatoes. We see suckers. So, oh, there goes a little tomato right there. And that has Russian kale in it. This right here, this bed has more parsley. There's beans and basil in here. And I have a lot of parsley and basil in different areas because I take my my basil and parsley and stuff and I dry it. And so I want to have enough to go through like the winter. That's the same thing with the sage and stuff like that. This right here is a zucchini plant. And oh, we have a baby zucchini. We actually have two down there. So yeah, and it has marigolds in it. So that plant is going to get huge. I know we kind of talked about some of the flowers over here. So right here, this is the bed where I planted up all the sunflowers, those little teddy bear sunflowers that I'm so looking forward to, and a couple of others. This one is kind of tall. We'll stake that up if we need to. I know a couple were eaten. And we have weeds. And we have a row of bricks that I just don't know what to do with. Back here in this bed right here, the marigolds are taken over, but there are carrots in here. And I know I put some beans in here as well. And so once again, I have not thinned out these carrot beds. And look at this little carrot right here. That is edible, guys. And if you juice, do any juicing, just so you know, you can juice the tops of the carrots. Okay, that's not what we're here to talk about. In our tour video, when we came over here, we did not talk about my rose, but the Julia Child rose is doing great. And as you can see, it has tons of blooms. It also has a bird nest inside. Let me see if I can show you all without getting stuck. But I noticed the back end wasn't filling out, but yep. But I think this is an abandoned nest. I don't see, it looks like whatever was in there, like the egg, there was one egg. It looks, there's a hole in it. It must have, came out. Okay, I hope you're with your mother. This brown bed right here, this has, some beans, when I say beans, because they're different types. Some of them are green beans. Some of them, this is a trailing one. This is a different type of bean. There's all, and then this right here, I believe this is cauliflower that's in here. This is our bed we talked about when we talked about the flowers, and unfortunately, guys, something's been digging in here, and the heat wave has taken out, as you can see, those pansies we stuck in here. But there is a hole right here, so something is tunneling this bed. The one regret that I do have with my beds is that when I put them on the ground, that I did not put in chicken wire. So I don't have chicken wire under some of these beds. Some of these beds I do, but some I don't. But something's been digging. You can see there, that's either their entrance or their outrance. But either way, they're doing so. I'm gonna have to pick up that soil. If we turn our attention to this big black bed right here, these are where our potatoes that are growing, and as you can see, they continue to get new leaves until they fully die back and are yellow. That means that they are not ready. So they're going to be here for a while. This round bed right here is full of broccoli, and it also has, I believe this is a zucchini as well, if I'm not mistaken. It's either, yeah, I believe so. It's either that or a squash. So I have one squash there. Then we have all of this is broccoli, and this one actually looks like cauliflower. And so those seem to be doing well. I don't see anything coming up. Actually, this is cauliflower. I can tell by the shape, and when I look down in there, I can see something forming. Right here we have more. This looks like broccoli. So look, all the greens look the same when they're in this stage. This right here, this little black bed is full of collards. So we got to come in here and cut this. I also had a zucchini in here. Yep. I believe this is a zucchini. Yep. It looks like it might be. I don't know if the vine boards got to that, but it doesn't look happy. Okay, and so this right here is the front of this section, and that's where we talked about all these flowers already. Before I did come in and tie back these bachelor buttons, and as you can see, these poles I stuck in to tie on the poppies, and all the poppies have basically bloomed. This is their little seed head, I think, and it's actually cute, so I'm not gonna cut that, but it looks like there might be some more blooms coming in. There's one right here. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I did these posts right here, as I told you all, save things will work in the garden. These are old what do you call it, curtain rods that I just saved. I didn't know why, and I stuck them there. Here goes another poppy. So pretty. So yeah, poppies, this is my first time growing poppies, and it is interesting. Like, I don't like how the bottom of their leaves get, but I'm glad that the bachelor buttons are in front of them. And I did come outside and cut on my bachelor buttons, my roses, and my snapdragons and made a little bouquet. I'll insert it here. But yeah, so that's the vegetable garden. That is the entire vegetable garden. So let's harvest. Here, gotta grab my harvesting basket. So here's my harvest basket. This is like I don't know if it's a vintage, but I picked this up at a thrift store. I think it's absolutely cute. This is metal. And then, of course, everything else is what, wicker. But yeah, let's harvest. So I'm going to start back here with the kale. So today we're going to get tons of greens. We're going to get tons of greens. So what I simply do when it comes to harvesting my greens is I'm going to just take the outer leaves and you leave the center. And when you do that, the plant will continue to grow and produce more. So that's simply what I'm going to do. I'm going to thin these out. Oh, that's a marigold. But hope y'all can see that. So, yep. So I'm just going to go around and we're going to take the outer leaves of all the greens that are ready. And that way you will get another harvest of your vegetables. You do not have to replant. They'll just keep going. And this is actually beneficial for the plant because these things are done. And while I'm down here, I'm cutting off any suckers on this tomato plant that I see. And I'll toss that there. And these temperatures right here is what these greens actually like. So that's all to it, guys. So as you can see, that full bed that we just looked at is now this. But everything will grow back, and I'm doing it on a cool day, and we have cool temperatures for at least a few days. So as you can see, I cut off all the big leaves. I left like medium leaves like this in the center, and that's what will keep producing the leaves. So I'm going to walk through and I'm going to do that to all the beds, and then we'll take a look after. We'll look at all the beds, and then I'll show you how I will thin out the carrots. So here's where I am with everything. This back right here is a bucket for the chickens. Chickens can have marigolds. They can eat the whole plant because I cut back the marigolds in some places harder than others. And there's also Swiss chard and some kale in there. This is my basket, and this is where I stopped because when I cook it down, it won't be a lot. This is probably, if you cook it, it will probably be 2 meals. If you juice it, it'll be a couple of juices. So, but I'm going to stop right there with that. So here's what the beds are looking like. This is the bed that I feel like I really lit into. This is the bed that had the kale, and it had so much marigold. I cut it back hard. These marigolds will bounce back, but what I discovered is I have something trailing up here, and I hope they make it. They're either winter squash or I don't know, but hopefully they'll be okay. they're grown, but I noticed that their stems were a little thin, and yeah, so hopefully they will make it. I also cut back that bed. You all watch me do that, but I did leave the dinosaur kale. I left that alone. I'm gonna wait on that bed, and although I want to get rid of all this lettuce and give it to the chickens, I don't want to give them too much in one day. So I'm gonna be pulling this to give to the chickens on another day. And then there was this bed right here with the Russian kale as well. I cut back on that. I cut everything out of that basically, and I cut back on this marigold and tidied up this tomato plant. So, and I didn't touch the collard greens like I said I would, because I want them to get a little bigger. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you all how I will thin out the carrots. But now that I think about it, and I'll just do that off camera, these collard greens over here were a little bigger, so I may or may not thin those out, but let's cut those back. I'm mixing up my words. Sorry, everybody in the neighborhood has a dog. But anyways, these carrots, I don't know, they just look like this probably because they needed to be thin out. I watered them and it rained this morning. So this might not be this bed right here. I can still show you all. Let me see. There's beans in here too. But basically, yeah, I don't think this is going to be a good example. Let's go to the other side. And this is probably why I don't thin them out, because I get super annoyed. Okay, so this bed is better. That bed was just like a little bogged down with too much water. So basically what you want to do is you'll get in here and you see right here, if I pull it back for you, you'll see, let me see if I can, you'll see that right here, this is like 3, 4, 5, 6 carrots. So if I go in and I say, okay, let's pull this one out, everything around that one right there, pull that out, pull this out, leave this one, let's leave that one, and then pull these, oh, come on, and then pull these ones out. Then this one we leave, it has more space to grow and get bigger because carrot seeds are so thin. Look at all these apples in here that have been just tossed in here from the squirrels. I don't think I'm gonna have any apples this year because this right here now has more space to get bigger and grow. And carrot seeds are so small, what I typically do is just sow the whole pack because there's no way, in my opinion, I mean, they have like little gadgets you can use, but in my opinion, there's like no way to to thin them out. So that's what you would do. You would just go in and choose whatever carrot you're going to keep and kind of thin them out. Now it looks like I have a ton of space right here, so I could put these back, but the chickens will enjoy those little, you can put these in salads. These are, clean them up, you can still use them. I have, but so that's what you would do. You would come in and thin them up. Like you can see, like there's a little carrot right there, and if I want that one to get bigger, I would just pull out everything around it so it can have enough space to continue to develop. And carrots you can leave in the ground over winter and all the things from what I gather. But anyways, okay. Now that's what I would do. And that's what I may or may not do, honestly. Let me show you how I fertilize. And if you have kids, these are definitely garden snacks. Hose these off and let them have at it. To fertilize or not to fertilize is totally up to you. I am not an expert at this by no means. I need a stick though. So I'm back because someone had asked me in the comments before. They basically, if I can remember, they were like, I see you put fertilizer in a hole when you first plant them. Do you go back and fertilize? When it comes to my perennials, I typically don't, but I think I'm going to do it for my roses this year because they've been blooming their heads off. And so I think the roses will get more fertilizer. My grandmother actually told me that she fertilizes her roses with liquid fertilizer like twice a week. She's better than me. I don't do that. So anyways, when it comes to the vegetable garden, what I do is whenever I get around to it, honestly speaking, I'm not on no regimen, is I use this Alaska fish fertilizer. So this bottle's almost gone. This is from like last year. The bottles last a while. So, and then I have a new bottle. I don't measure. I don't do anything. But what I simply do per bed, if it's one of those smaller raised beds, I just put um I just, for all of the beds, what I do is I simply take this and give it a few squirts. Honestly, that's it. Now this is already has half a tank, not half a tank. Oh my gosh. Sorry, my mind be everywhere. This is already half full. So I'm just going to add water to it. And typically what I do is, if there's no water in here, is I put the fish emulsion and then I add the water, because it just, helps to mix it, in my opinion. And then what I'm going to do is I'll probably use half. I think this is like I looked it up before and I don't remember. It's either like I think this is just a gallon container. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But if you want to fertilize your garden, fertilize your garden. If you don't, you don't. Like I said, I have not fertilized this garden all season so far. And it's booming. It's doing fine. And I didn't fertilize definitely during a heat wave. And I'm just using this little stick to stir it a little bit, because you don't want to, during a heat wave, you don't want to fertilize. It can cause burn-in, all the different things. So I take this and then let's go over. Okay, and then I'll go over to this bed. I still don't want to like get it on the leaves. And then I'll probably in this bed use like half of this. Sometimes I use the whole thing, but we'll fertilize this bed and just let each plant, you know, get some of that fertilizer, especially this tomato here. So sometimes, honestly, I'll use this whole gallon in the bed, but which I think I'm actually doing, and I'll probably will just go ahead. But I just try to like make sure like each plant, not so much the marigolds, but each plant gets a little bit of the fertilizer. And like I said, especially the tomatoes and pepper plants, because they are heavy feeders. So that bed is done. And so I'll just repeat that process. Let's do another bed. So now that this is empty, just take the cap off. And yes, it stinks. I'm used to the smell though. And then we're just going to do a few squirts. And then that's what it looks like, guys. Yuck. And then fill it up. Fill up this canister. That's his happy bark. My husband just came out so he can give them their second run of the day. So they're excited. Don't leave me, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown said I'm out. Okay, so I didn't stir it. I don't think I need to. So, same thing with this bed. Get it in there. Oh, I'm trying to do it. This thing is heavy. I'm going to really fertilize these little things right here that weren't getting. Just shake this up a little. Oh, I'm going to definitely smell like that. I'm going to really fertilize these right here that weren't getting all the sun that they deserve. Oh, I got to wash my sneakers. I got it on my sneakers. Terrible. All right, that's all to it, guys. I'm gonna go around, and it is a tedious, repetitive thing, but you know, sometimes I will fertilize a few beds a day because, like I said, I'm not on any particular schedule. So I just come out here and do whatever. And so I fertilize those beds. But I think because it's so nice outside, I'm going to go ahead and just fertilize everybody. And this is the first time, and who knows when I'll do it again. Definitely want to fertilize this cabbage bed as well. So that's what I'm going to do. My daughter just got home. I just spilled fish fertilizer on me. You want to give me a hug? So with that being said, as always, I'm going to just go ahead and end it here. I'm going to continue to fertilize and enjoy this lovely 67-degree weather. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for being here as always. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment because I will talk back, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you've done all of those things, thank you. I appreciate you. If you haven't, please consider. Until next time, blessings. Bye.